Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to another episode of this podcast, which is called the People's Review Podcast.com. I am Dylan, one of two Space Cowboys here today. I'm joined by Space Cowboy number 1 or number 2, depends on if you put Jose or Dylan first, but here he is.
Yes, I am the Master Chief.
Oh, if you're Master Chief, then am I like the Sergeant Johnson?
No, you're the second Master Chief. You're just the other Master Chief who's player 2.
Okay, can I be the Arbiter?
No, you're Master Chief 2.
Master Chief 2. Well, hey, that game's actually going to come out probably, so
Here's to hope.
we'll see.
2021, 20 years after its initial release.
Yeah. Hey, maybe I know they were trying to release it last year, and then nerds got mad at the trailer, so they delayed it. But yeah, now it's coinciding with all. But with all this Xbox 20-year anniversary, there was no Fusion Frenzy HD remake. Where's Blinks the Time Cat? I mean, come on, Microsoft, what are you doing?
Well, the games have to be good for them to release it again. Fusion Frenzy, not good. Sorry.
It's Bill Gates' favorite game.
Listen, Bill Gates, you just have not good taste in video games. Okay, bro? Just like,
yeah, I mean,
accept these facts.
Hey, taste is subjective. What's not subjective, or, I don't know. What's not subjective to me is Cowboy Bebop, even though it is. So, I don't know. I'm trying to transition, but it's not working.
Just like Halo, Cowboy Bebop is just a beautiful space drama.
Beautiful space drama, though. Cowboy Bebop is a lot better than Halo, I just gotta say. Off the bat.
I'm sorry, but does Cowboy Bebop have one of the greatest multiplayers ever? I don't think so.
No, but it is getting a Netflix live-action adaptation.
I don't know how much I trust that. Did you see the Death Note live adaptation?
No, I did not.
Nobody wanted to watch that.
Well, it's just,
trash.
and also you're kind of, with any sort of remakes and stuff, if it's not like just like a higher res version of the original thing, you're just asking to be compared to the original thing all the time, and depending on how much the original thing is loved, there's going to be that disappointment from fans, just no matter what happens, regardless of if it's good or bad or great, you're always going to be compared to the original thing.
Yeah, but what if they Dragon Ball Evolution this shit?
I mean, I hope not. I mean, that'd be kind of funny. But I hope people have learned their lesson from Dragon Ball Z. Or no, not even Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Evolution. Because because I don't think Spike's going to be in a high school and get called Geeko.
Hey, Spike Geeko, how are you doing today?
What's going on, Geeko?
Good, Jet Geeko, just doing pretty well.
Oh, hey, Faye Dragon Ball Evolution version. You want to come to my party? Ugh.
Is it going to be the same like Dragon Ball Evolution where everyone else is Asian, but the main character is played by a white guy?
No, I think the main actor is Asian in this adaptation.
Yeah, it's John Cho.
Yeah. So, hey, could be good. No judgment until it comes out. What we can judge is what's already out, which is the next 4 episodes of the anime, which is short for Animation Time.
Whoa.
Show Cowboy Bebop, with our 4th episode that we're watching called Gateway Shuffle.
Gateway Shuffle. Pew, 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 pew.
Gateway Shuffle to the left. Gateway Shuffle to the right. Gateway all the times.
Gateway all the time.
This was a good start to these series of episodes. Well, we start with we meet the character Faye again, and she's hanging out on the orbit of Jupiter's, and like hanging out with Jupiter's rings. No fuel or food in her spaceship.
Yeah, she's just hanging out, drifting in space.
Just chilling. I mean, that's gotta be you could literally die. I mean, that's so dangerous, right?
Isn't it like in Mass Effect where you just get space towed?
I actually never run out of fuel in Mass Effect. I'm very smart with my fuel consumption.
Look at this guy. This guy knows how to
Because I
fuel.
don't want to get space towed. And also, like this, like Faye's little ass ship is not the Normandy, so, and she doesn't have any friends.
True.
I didn't mean that to be in a mean way, but it's just kind of true. But
Her Facebook friends is at 0.
yeah, I mean, Todd from who's the guy from MySpace? Tom from MySpace is her friend, but that's it.
Wow.
And so we see Faye. So we're kind of being introduced to Faye again, and then we cut to our classic dynamic duo of Spike and Jet, the man with the metal arm, eating at a restaurant. They're closing in on a Mark, who is just a guy with a he has like an Elvis haircut. He's just surrounded by ladies, just like yelling about eating meat.
The space terrorists called the Space Warriors, who are eco-terrorists, approach him, and they start shooting up the place, and they kill the Mark.
Oh yeah, these are like the most extreme version of the PETA people.
Pretty much, where instead of, throwing blood at you while you're wearing your amazing fur coat, they just kill you. Which is way worse.
They also kill like everyone in the restaurant. This is just so extreme. Like one of those guys must have been a vegan or something, right? Like,
I mean,
they just shoot up everybody, and as they're escaping, also the 4 dudes call the ringleader lady mom, which has some implications, let's say, that are not G-rated. Let's say, wink, wink.
Wink.
Yes. So he basically it's the sea rats, right? The Elvis dude is like, I want to eat the sea rat, and then she's like, it's an illegal item. They're endangered. Yeah, they just get shot the fuck up. It's crazy.
That's what happens when you try to eat sea rats. They're an endangered species, and we only have so many sea rats in our world. So please send your donations to thepeoplesreviewpodcast.com/sea rats.
Give me the money and I will spend it eating a juicy steak.
We will not eat any more sea rats, we promise.
Is a sea rat a real thing? Is it just a seal?
Shut up, Dylan. I'm trying to get free money here.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I care about the environment.
Exactly.
And, give the money to me, and we're gonna like blow up SeaWorld. Yeah, though SeaWorld sucks, so they deserve it. But
whoa. We will not. I repeat, we will not blow up SeaWorld.
Yeah, no, that's no, we're not gonna do that. Obviously. Disclaimer.
FBI, you can stop listening here.
Yes, and so as they're escaping, Spike and all of his stealth ninja skills captures the woman and wants to take her in for a bounty because they're bounty hunters, of course. And they bring her onto the ship, and they're sort of looking up everything, and Jet's like, the bounty went away. What happened? And what happened, Jose?
Well, Jet calls his buddy, who is, I'm assuming, a cop.
He's a former cop, so he has cop contacts that he can use to try to get the details on these bounties and what's going on. And basically just saying, like, hey, the bounty's off the table. Don't know what to tell you, Jet. But really, this lady is pulling the strings on all these politicians. So as soon as she gets captured, she's pulling the string, or her crew's pulling the strings to get the bounty removed. Now instead of capturing a bounty, Jet and Spike are now kidnappers.
Pretty much. And at the same time, we learned that it might be So actually, before this, Faye is once again found by the boys.
She's putting on the nice voice of like any ship that comes by, like, "Hey, I'm just out of fuel. If you wouldn't mind, like, picking me up." And she's getting no response. And she looks up and sees it's the Bebop, and is just like, "God fucking damn it!"
Of all the ships in all the galaxy,
small universe, eh? That's a joke for any space travelers. Hey, it's a small galaxy, baby.
Oh, you know it. So Faye once again gets caught, and she's once again handcuffed to.
For no real reason besides like your problem. Last time you were here, you caused problems, so we're just gonna chain you up just in case. Like whatever you're doing here, it's not going to be on the up and up. So stay over there, and good old Ein is keeping guard.
Well, yeah, Ein's the greatest guard dog in the world, so obviously he's gonna keep guard.
Yeah, there's a couple good Ein moments in these episodes. The jump, might as well. I'll just get that out of the way. There's a moment later on where Faye's looking in the fridge, and I think it's the 6th episode. She's looking in the fridge, and all there's left is a can of dog food. And you cut back to Ein, and he's just like sitting there waiting for his food with his food bowl. And Faye just starts eating the dog food. It's just like, hey, gotta work if you want to eat, dog.
I'm telling you, just skip. Like,
it's just the
2
meanest
episodes.
fucking thing I've ever seen. Fuck her.
Skipping episodes, this guy.
It's just a quick moment with Ein the dog that we might miss later because I might forget.
Don't worry,
But,
I had it written down, so I wouldn't forgotten.
But yeah, just wanted to talk about that little moment, and now we can get back to the episode.
So
current episode.
We also find out that the lady who Spike and Jet have captured her name is Twinkle Murdoch. Phenomenal name.
It's a pretty good name. Not gonna lie.
So Mike comes in. There's a little spherical object that has a little what is it?
Oh yeah, because Faye
a diamond in the middle.
Yeah, because Faye earlier she sees a wreckage of a ship, tries to see if the guy's alive, and recovers this not capsule, but like you're describing, this cage for this not rhombus, this diamond type shape object. And when she gets picked up by the Bebop, she brings that thing onto the ship. A great little bit of editing and storytelling is as Jet's speaking to his contact about what's going on and talking about the terrorist act and how they've developed this virus and show pictures of the virus. We realize that the container is the virus while Spike is like banging it on the table and twisting it, and he shoots the cage off of the thing. So great little bit of editing there.
Yeah, exactly. And the whole time, the lady is just super nervous that Spike's gonna, break open the thing, which basically has the gorilla virus is what it's called, where basically it turns any human into a gorilla.
Because there's a 2% difference between gorillas and humans, and this targets just that 2% DNA. So it'll turn any human into a gorilla, but it will avoid all other organic life. So this is specifically only targeting humans. And what I have to assume is a commentary on some activists, the really, really extreme animal activists that will value a animal life over a human life.
Oh yeah, it always feels that way every time I had seen one of those activists. It feels like they care more about plants and pets more than they would of not a human being.
Which I grew up on a farm with a bunch of chickens, a duck, bunch of cats, multiple dogs. Grew up in an animal house, love animals, but I would never value an animal life over a human being life. I mean, that depends. I would probably kill Hitler over my dog, but if I had a dog, but for the most part, if it's a normal human being that is not causing huge war crimes, then yeah, human over animal.
You hear it here first, folks. When Dylan gets a time machine, he will kill Hitler first.
Yeah, in case you guys weren't clear on that one.
They released Twinkle Murdoch after, basically there's no bounty, there's no reason to keep her. So they let her go, and May at the same time also escapes from her capture because
Faye.
No one gets those
Faye.
handcuffs just right.
It's Faye.
Faye, May, same shit.
Faye. You're thinking of My Valentine from Yu-Gi-Oh!
I really am thinking about My Valentine from Yu-Gi-Oh!
I mean, who isn't?
They have the same fucking name. They literally changed one letter.
Yeah, I wonder who stole it from who.
Definitely, Yu-Gi-Oh had it first. Just saying.
I want. Let me. This is the official People's Review fact check break.
Put in some typing noise here.
I mean, my keyboard's pretty loud.
Damn mechanical keyboards.
Yeah, hey, it's got RGB lighting in the back, so
Yeah, I got the same one.
that's because we're cool guys, and we want to let
Yeah.
everyone know that we are gamers. All right, original run of Yu-Gi-Oh! It looks like the manga was September 30th, 1996. Cowboy, Bebop, 1997. So
Oh,
1 point for Yu-Gi-Oh!, which is maybe the worst anime of all time, but that's neither here nor there.
How dare you? That's the greatest
How dare
anime
you?
ever. I don't even remember what happens after the whatever dual city thingy majig.
Because
How dare you.
no one watched it after that.
Pretty
People
much.
are, in my youth, we were watching. I think that was on. Toonami
It was on.
a
No,
little
it
bit.
wasn't on Tsunami. It was on WB Kids.
Okay, that's why I didn't watch too much of it, because I was a Cartoon Network guy through and through. But I would see bits of the show and see the game, and I was like, that game looks cool. But then the game in real life doesn't play anything like the game on the show. There's whole different rules, and obviously they're doing plot stuff and just cheating and drawing the cards that they need for the plot. I was definitely one of those kids who got Yu-Gi-Oh cards and realized this game sucks.
Well,
I was more of a Magic man personally, so.
So the anime and the card game are very different. So the original
Much
anime,
like Cowboy Bebop,
exactly,
the anime and the card game are a lot different.
exactly. I won't go into the full details, but a lot of the anime was very wrong, and that's why in the second season of Yu-Gi-Oh they fixed most of it to more correlate to the correct card game, which
Where
the
you
rules
draw
always
where you-
change.
Well, there was never a moment where Yugi draws a hand and is like, "Ah, fuck, I got nothing. Can I mulligan? Can I get a mulligan on this hand?
Hey, Kaiba,
Ah, shit, I'm gonna
do
lose.
over.
Ah, the Dark Magician's at the bottom of the deck. Fuck." I knew a kid in elementary school that would, when he would shuffle his deck, he would specifically put 2 cards right at the top every time, and we'd call him out for it, and he kept doing it. So
He wouldn't have survived.
Shout out to that
He wouldn't have
guy.
survived in my school. We would have beaten him up for cheating at Yu-Gi-Oh because we took that shit personally.
yeah, but then I became a man and got into Magic. So, Magic
Yes.
the Gathering.
Dylan became less of a man and got into Magic the Gathering instead
Oh,
of
Magic
to
is
girls like
Magic
the rest
is
of
leagues
us.
beyond Yu-Gi-Oh. Don't even get started.
Dylan,
There's a lot. There's bullshit in both things, but if we're talking about the game, Magic is where it's at.
Dylan, we all know that from Yu-Gi-Oh you evolved to go into girls. That's how the natural progression was.
Nobody who played Yu-Gi-Oh consistently got and no girls.
How dare you?
How dare you?
How dare you? Me and my 0 girlfriends will leave right now.
Well, me and my Magic cards, I'm gonna build another deck, and then I'm gonna win the girl of my dreams. Probably.
All right. Anyways,
So where were we? What
back
what show
to
were we
real life
watching?
watching Cowboy
So back
Bebop.
to episode 4 of Yu-Gi-Oh! The Gathering, or whatever it's called. The Gateway Shuffle. Oh yeah, we're at the Twinkle Murdoch is let go by the Bebop crew. They immediately launch this terrorist attack where they're going to launch the virus at Ganymede, which is a moon around Jupiter, I think.
Stupid moon.
It's like a real moon in the world, or not in the world, but it's like a real thing in space.
It's a real moon in the world in space.
Shut up. You know what I mean. But there's people that live on this moon, and they're gonna launch a missile of the virus to this moon.
Dylan, I'm looking at the moon right now, and I see 0 people there.
Well, yeah, you can't see him. It's too far away. Duh.
True.
Come on, man. This is
It's like when you're on the
elementary
airplane.
school stuff.
But anyways.
Hey, yeah. So, they're gonna launch a missile, and Jet gets alerted by his cop contact. So Spike gets in the ship to try to stop him, and because they're in hyperspace, the Twinkle Murdoch ship is in hyperspace, and they're gonna launch the missile through the hyperspace gate to hit Ganymede. Spike gets in his little fighter ship, goes to try to stop them. The missile splits up into 3 missiles. He shoots 2 of them, and there's 1 left. But his gun won't recharge in time. So he gets a little call from Faye, who's like, "Oh, for 80% of the cut, I will assist you."
No way, Jose.
No way, Jose. No way, Jose. No.
40%'s the best
Jose.
I can do.
Yeah, 40%. So she agrees. She launches her ship. It goes into hyperspace. Fails to shoot the missile because it splits up into like a million little missiles. And so they're freaking out. The cops are closing the hyperspace gate to stop the missiles from coming through, which means that Faye and Spike could get stuck in hyperspace. So they're speeding along, and they just get through the gate before the missiles come through and save Ganymede from turning into a bunch of angry gorillas.
Well, they didn't save shit. They just basically closed the gate so nothing would happen. And as we all know, when things are in
Save the day.
hyperspace, they can't interact with the real world.
Which is a great bit of storytelling for later on, let's say. On rewatching this another time or multiple times, this is a great bit of storytelling for later on in the series. No spoilers, but you know what I mean, if you know what I mean.
Pretty much. And then as the episode's wrapping up, May decides to say, you know what, I'm just going to hang out with you guys. Faye, May. I probably won't get this right the whole episode, so...
Faye.
If I'm saying May, I'm talking about Faye.
Faye. Okay, Faye.
So May
Anyways, you were saying about May Valentine?
Yes. So May Valentine joins Yugi and friends, and they all become a part of the Bebop.
Oh, and then Weevil rips up Yugi's card and throws it off the boat.
He rips up Exodia and he throws it off the boat like a
What a
fucking
dick.
savage.
So yet another episode of Cowboy Bebop ends with nobody getting a bounty and Faye making her committing to live on the Bebop
For free.
not to the enjoyment of Spike or Jet, where great little scene where Spike's like, "Is she saying what I think I'm saying?" And then Jet's like, "I have no opinions on this."
Well, pretty much. But what did you think of the episode overall? I thought it was like a solid B rank kind of episode.
Yeah, this is a fun episode. You know, saving the day. There's it's a little goofy with I think Twinkle Murdoch's character is a little goofy in that like comic book or not like comically villainous way, whereas he's just like maniacally laughing while she's launching the missiles, and it ends with her getting infected by the monkey virus in hyperspace because they cut back when she's leaving the ship. Spike puts the capsule in her pocket, and when they stop before the gate, it flies out of her pocket and breaks. So she becomes a monkey. Another
great throwback to Spike being a great master of deft hands.
Yeah, Spike is just... It also brings up the question of, did he do that because he secretly knew what was going on, or it's just like, I don't want this. Like, this is the easiest way for us to get rid of this shit. Like,
a little bit from
can't just throw
column
it
A.
out the airlock. Just here, you can have this.
Why not a little bit from column A and a little bit from column B? Am I right?
Yeah, I think that would look good on a spreadsheet probably. So yeah, that was good episode. I think in general the episode was like these 3 episodes went good, great, and then okay.
Yeah, I feel the same way. The next episode we're going to be talking about, episode 5,
Good.
Ballad of Fallen Angel.
And this is an episode where we sort of get some hints as to the larger plots at hand.
Yeah, right away we meet Vicious, who's going to be pretty much the antagonist of the story, as he is...
Vicious. I wonder if this guy is going to be a villain.
Nah, he's probably just a good guy. Bad name, you know.
Yeah, his parents just, like, they messed up on the birth certificate. His name was supposed to be, like, Victor, but they put Vicious instead. And he's like, well, we can't change it now, so...
Too late.
Once you're 18, you can do this. And this whole episode is a really great example of the show don't tell concept, where there's not a scene where they have to be like, Jet, I was in the mob or the Yakuza or whatever the gang is. I was in a gang and I met a guy called Vicious, and then I slept with his girlfriend. And then he tried to kill me, so I had to go try to fight, and now everyone thinks I'm dead. There's never that moment. You learn about what's going on. No one ever tells you, or there's very few moments where they just straight up, like, sit down and say, this is what's happening. So you learn about everything visually, and you learn about what's going on, learn more about Spike's character, why he is the way he is. A little bit of hint at the backstory. You never get told about the backstory, really. You just sort of get hinted at it. You meet a couple characters. The way they interact with Spike gives you indication. Even like oh God, it's just so good.
Yeah, it's very good. As Dylan was saying, this episode keeps trying to teach you, even though we don't want to learn, but we have to learn. Otherwise, we'll never get the whole story.
Well, this is fun learning, This would be a bad show for a person that like doesn't pay attention or hates words or hates having to think, Yeah, I shouldn't say that. That's douchey, but there's definitely people that don't want to like have to put in extra brain power into a thing,
Must not think at all.
Like, and I get it. Like watching like reality TV shows where you just watch it, like I get it. Like there is a comfort to that sort of television and show where you just watch it and then you immediately forget about it. But yeah, this episode has a lot of good storytelling.
Yeah, it's definitely an episode you need to pay attention to the whole time. You can't just be texting funny emojis and paying attention that way. Trust me, it doesn't.
Oh yeah, I remember one time I was watching a movie with a group. I forget what movie it was, but it was like a movie that was like a slow burn movie. Like you watch it and like it's a little slow at first, but it's well crafted. And like 10 minutes in, he did not look at the movie once. He was just on his phone and looks up and says, "This movie's boring. Let's watch something else." And it's just like, just try it a little bit. Just a little bit. Try the movie. And then if it's boring, like then it's like, all right, that's just, it's personal taste. Respect that you don't like a thing. I can respect that, but you gotta like watch the thing a little bit first.
Ugh, you're not my mom.
Or am I?
That's how I answered you that day.
Yeah. So, so we start off with like we meet the Red Dragon gang, and the leader of the Red Dragon gang gets killed by Vicious, and we get our first hint that this ties into the story where he's just like, if Spike were here, this wouldn't have happened. And so now we're like, oh, okay, Spike was involved with this gang. We learn a little bit more about his mysterious past. And Spike's getting ready to go after this guy, and he and Jet are arguing because Jet wants to know what's going on. Spike won't tell him, and, hey, why are you going after this guy? What's going on? How'd you lose your arm, Jet? They're both, trying to be alpha here.
I think it's won't
budge on this.
I think it's more of, they don't really yet know everything about each other yet.
Yeah, this isn't a best buddies friendship.
No, it's definitely a business partnership. So Jet doesn't know how, Spike's background, and Spike doesn't know Jet's background fully well.
But they work well together.
Exactly. So we've.
But this is. Sorry, you go first.
So we know about Mao Yenrai, who's the Red Dragon's leader, who was murdered by Vicious. And as Spike leaves the ship, we get a call from, I forget who it was, but basically Faye answered the phone.
Hey,
and
you did
invited it. Look at me. I remembered. She answered the phone, and it's basically an invitation to the opera. And, to come to a secluded box for, I believe it was for something in regards to money. So,
Something like that.
Faye
But basically, she kind of commandeers the lead on this. And it's like, oh, well, I'll just do the bounty.
Pretty much. And anytime you say money, Faye will be there.
Oh, yeah. Well, she's got, who doesn't want... They don't have any food, man. They got to eat.
True.
They can't just go work at Space Starbucks.
What about Space McDonald's?
Fuck no. Maybe like a Space Subway.
Yeah, so as Spike
that way
leaves,
you can at least get fresh fruits and vegetables.
Space Subway, our food's still not fresh.
It's the vegetables are fresh. I will say. I was a sandwich artist at a Subway at my college. The vegetables is good. The meat is questionable.
Yeah. As I matured, Subway was one of the places I wholeheartedly try to avoid.
Get over it, man. You like vegetables. They got the vegetables.
Who said I like vegetables?
No, I mean, vegetables is good for you.
Well, prove me right, science guy.
I'm definitely not a science guy. But you were saying about Faye Valentine and this opera getup.
So Faye goes to the opera. Basically, she goes into this room to look for Mao Yenrai. As she is about to approach the door, the bodyguards turn on her and say, "All right, get in there." And basically, Faye is dragged into the opera. Is it an opera room? Opera balcony?
It's like the balcony seating, like maybe a little similar to the Abraham Lincoln situation where he was in the opera box and got shot. And this is Faye walking into a place where there's already a dead body, and she's basically just walked right into a trap. There was no chance of her getting a bounty in hindsight.
Yeah, pretty much. And at the meantime, Spike is on some planet where he runs into an old acquaintance of his who, from the photos we can discern, is also an acquaintance of Mao Yenrai.
Another great piece of show don't tell storytelling.
Exactly.
They don't have to, this character Annie doesn't have to say, Spike, when you were 15, I looked after you, and then you got involved in this stuff because of me. You just see the photo of her, young Spike, and Mao something.
Was that young Spike? I thought that was some other dude.
No, that's a young Spike with short hair, because it shows that the three of them were the three of them were close. So Mao Yenrai's death is affecting both of them. You can tell that Annie's really nervous, and also it implies that Spike has been off the grid in terms of his old associates for a few years. So they all think he's dead, or might as well be dead to them. And for him to pop back up, Annie doesn't have a good feeling about it.
Yeah. And so as, they're reminiscing about the old times, Spike wants to get some more heavy artillery, as he's clearly gearing up for a fight against one of his old friends, the kid, Sid Vicious.
Vicious.
So one thing I don't
know who Sid Vicious is.
I don't know, some musician.
You don't even know.
Nah, I just like saying it.
Here's another People's Review. We're gonna look on the internet to figure out what Jose is talking about segments.
Typing, looking it up, trying to figure out this whole mess. Yeah.
Yeah. English punk rock guy from the Sex Pistols.
See? I'm a mad smart dog.
You just said musician. Like, it could have been like Beethoven for all I knew.
Yeah, that's Sid Beethoven vicious to you, bruh.
Sid Beethoven. Oh, man. But yeah, so like you said, Spike is gearing up for a big battle, getting grenades and ammo. And he's back on the Bebop, gearing up. And another sort of confrontational argument with Jet, where he doesn't reveal what happened to his arm. He just says, I lost his arm by meddling in things I shouldn't, or a similar line like that. Or for being too gung-ho. Don't do this, Spike.
I thought he was going to say he lost that arm because of those meddling kids.
If it weren't for those meddling kids, I wouldn't have this meddling arm.
Pretty much.
Man, could you imagine? Man, I would love to have a metal arm. No lie. That'd be fucking rad. You just win every single fight that you ever were in.
I don't think the technology's there yet.
Dude, imagine going to one of those YouTube boxing matches with a metal fucking arm.
Well, that's just unfair.
Oh, dude, I'd knock a Paul brother out. Bam!
Come here, Logan. Come here, whatever your other name is.
I think it's I don't know much about them. Though I do like that boxing that was once a sport that was taken seriously. It's now just YouTubers and internet personalities with no experience beating the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
Or if you're Ben Askren just taking a dive for like $10 million.
Boxing, the sport of kings, has really taken not a gracious tumble, but
like Pete Davidson said, it's once great sport, and now we can see how low it's sunk.
Pretty much. What's next? Baseball?
just YouTube baseball. You need like multiple people though for that. So, and these guys are individuals. So
Lone wolves.
I don't know if they'd work well in a team.
You want me to be in a team with these channels? No way, Jose.
I mean, look at what's happening to the Brooklyn Nets. They're supposed to be a team, and now they're all injured.
Yeah, but they're getting injured as a team. That's what matters the most.
Giannis gonna wipe the floor with them, hopefully.
I mean, it took Giannis for the people who listen to this podcast and care a little about sports. Giannis Antetokounmpo is a professional NBA player for the Milwaukee Bucks, who's currently facing the Brooklyn Nets and the greatest basketball player who joins only super teams, Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant. Yeah, if your team's good, he's going to join you. He's like, yo, I got to join that podcast. We could use his burner accounts to hype it up. So yeah, Spike is going after Vicious, and Jet. He and Jet, have another little spat. They get a call from Vicious where it shows Faye tied up, and they're like, "Hey, they want you to come to this church. Can you guys please come save me?" So Spike goes, leaves Jet all alone. He's bitter. He's like, "Oh, what do those people know anyway?" He goes, cuts his bonsai tree, trying to find inner zen.
Although I do have to say that the scene leading up to the Spike going to the church, the music was it just felt so perfect the whole time as he was walking into the church, heading to the path where he would then be set right in front of Vicious himself. Yeah. I just thought the score was just so beautiful as he was walking in there.
Agreed. Oh man, yeah. Like we've said before, the music throughout all these shows, really, really good at setting the tone, really good at setting the atmosphere. And then yeah, Spike gets into a big gunfight, shoots a bunch of syndicate people, gets onto the behind the clock in the old church. So we get a little cinematic fight between him and Vicious. Vicious is using a sword, Spike's using a gun. And basically, it ends with them. Spike gets a shot off, but he also gets stabbed by Vicious. And Vicious just tosses this guy out the church mural. The glass pane, the window pane. You know what I mean?
Even before that, I feel they show an iconic scene that we'll see once again throughout the series where Spike has a gun pointed to his heart, to Vicious's heart, and Vicious has the sword pointed to Spike's heart. And each time they face each other, it seems that they can never kill each other.
Yeah, it's like yin and yang. It's later described as Spike is the only one who can fully awaken Vicious and vice versa. They're both tortured souls. Both came into the syndicate at the same time. According to some bits of flashback indicates that they used to be friends. So this is like, old friends, bitter enemies. The Vicious has gone down a different path, and so has Spike. Spike tried to, from what the indication of if you were watching the show up to this point and didn't know what happened next, the indication is that Spike used to be part of this gang and friends with Vicious. It seems like a relationship with another woman who was sleeping with, or who was with Vicious, or strained that friendship and caused Spike to have to go into hiding. And that's just from the clips that we see from the flashback after Spike gets thrown out the window. So great bits of storytelling there where you just see these clips along with some great music. Get those indications, get a little bits and pieces of what may be going on.
Yeah, and then as the flashback is ending, we hear a woman humming. Basically, Spike was in a scenario before where he was injured fatally, and he woke up to a woman humming. And then as he actually wakes up in reality...
I love this scene.
May is also humming. Faye is humming. And as she's humming, basically, Spike gets her attention, and he tells her come over. And as she puts her ear right next to his mouth, he says, "Your singing's off key."
And then Faye gets angry and hits him. And then the great scene where Jet hears a yell, peeks out of the kitchen, sees Faye angrily going by, and get the indication that okay, everything's back to normal for now.
Yeah, I personally think, to me, this is a S rank episode. It just has everything that makes this show great. It has action, the fight scenes, the music score is great. The backstory to fill up, introducing Vicious.
Yeah.
I just think it rounds out to be a phenomenal episode.
Because at this point, we've had 4 episodes to establish who these characters are today, right? We know how Spike and Jet interact. We know about Faye. We know how these characters act. And here we get a little taste of, what led them to this point. And, yeah. And this next episode's not even bad. It's just, I just have questions.
Yeah.
Let's say, this next episode, I just have more questions for this next one.
So the next episode we'll be talking about is episode 6, Sympathy for the Devil. It intros into a small child playing the harmonica in a local bar. Super safe place to keep your children. Bars, very safe.
Oh, yeah.
Other safe place for children. Museums of knives. Rock and roll
That's very
concerts.
specific. Is there a knife museum near you?
No. I'm not disclosing that information.
So yeah, and this episode just raises a number of questions that I have about this universe. There's a number of supernatural elements that, for the most, this is a show in space. Space travel's not really real at the level that they have in Bebop, but this episode deals with some more, I dare say, supernatural elements that just raises more questions. Do you agree?
Yeah, I get. So basically, there's this kid. Well, he's not a child. He's actually an elderly man, but because
we don't know that yet.
Well, we don't know that yet, but basically, we find out later in the episode that the small child who's playing the harmonica is actually a very elderly man who's pretty much after an explosion. I don't know if I would categorize it as supernatural. It's basically like the Hulk after he gets powers from the gamma radiation. I just feel like it's something scientific that occurred that is the reason why he's pretty much an immortal.
Yeah, but so a moon explosion caused by a hyperspace gate rained down a bunch of meteors onto the Earth and killed this child's family, which now in turn makes him never age. He's also invincible. He can't die. Even if he gets shot in the head, he can't be killed. All from a moon gate blowing up? I just don't see the connection. I mean, I'm no space scientist. I'm just a regular piece of shit from the internet. But
as a space scientist, I can say that this is
you
exactly
are also not a space
what
scientist.
Happened. Hey, how dare you? I went to space school, and space college says if gamma radiation and all this other junk hits the Earth, immortality. Boom.
Well, I better get my rockets ready to blow up the moon then.
Guess what? We don't have anything on the moon right now, bitch. So you can't blow it up.
Like in Dragon Ball Z, where Piccolo blows up the moon. When Gohan turns into a monkey, he's freaking out, and Piccolo just points his finger at the moon and blows it the fuck up.
That poor moon, man. I'm surprised, after that happened.
Which would cause total chaos.
Pretty much, like the whole world would be like in disarray because the oceans wouldn't be, what's the thing that happens if basically the ocean?
I thought you were the space scientist.
Anyways, as a space scientist, once the moon is gone from the orbit of the Earth, it causes a complete disarray to the oceans. The oceans will start rising. It'll pretty much be like huge tsunamis all over the world. Everyone's dead. Space Florida is gone. It's pretty much the worst.
Yeah. So that's how this kid basically becomes immortal. And so this is obviously this is another bounty chase. So Spike and Jet are trying to they're looking for another guy, not the child, but another guy who happens to be looking for this child. And basically they follow him. Spike sees the target get thrown out a window, catches him, sees that he has a bullet, and he basically gives Spike this pink gem ring and says something to the effect of, "Don't let the kid deceive you. You have to save him." Classic cryptic dead guy stuff.
Why can't dead people just, be straightforward? Why do they have to be so cryptic?
What a bunch of losers.
When I die, Dylan, I promise I'll leave you clear instructions on what to do.
Okay, cool. I'm looking forward to it. Do I get all your stuff?
No.
Can I get some of the stuff?
No. You get to have the honor to hold my pinkies.
Why specifically your pinkies?
I don't know. I just want you to have something cool.
Can I cut them off?
No.
And preserve them in a jar?
They'll already be cut off.
And I'll be like, here's Jose's pinkies.
They'll already be pre-cut off for you.
Oh, word, awesome.
So
and I can put them on my own fingers, and then I have two pinkies on each hand.
No, they're actually encased in epoxy. They're there to remind you of me and my pinkies.
Great, and then my dog will eat them.
Wow. So I'm guessing you're not keeping these pinkies.
Well, you want I'm not going to keep your pinkies, but you want to catch these hands, boy?
Yeah. Hello, lawyer. Yeah. Cancel the pinky thing with Dylan. He's out.
What a tangent. So what happens next? So we get this dead guy. They have this ring. Spike tries to go after the kid. And that's basically where we learn about the kid's origin, that he can't die. Shoots Spike. Spike, and then in the ensuing gunfight, there's also he also has a guy in a wheelchair around with him, so as he doesn't look suspicious as a kid just walking around by himself. So it's him, looks like he basically has the appearance of a kid wheelchairing his grandfather around. So he doesn't look suspicious. So
yeah, which we learn is actually the guy who died's friend. His name is Zebra, and the guy who died
is
Giraffe. His name is Giraffe. So
I love these names.
Clearly, these names are being hand selected very carefully as each episode is coming.
I mean, they're like code names, right? Like this guy didn't come out the womb, and they're like giraffe.
I don't know. When I have a child, I'm gonna be like, that's giraffe, that's zebra, that's mountain lion.
You see that RDC video about baby names?
No.
Where he's delivering the baby. He's like, oh, what a beautiful baby. What's her name? Febreze. Febreze? And the guy's like, come on, think about the baby. Whatever. Have a good life, Febreze. It's good.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, I'll show you after this podcast.
But back to the actual episode.
Yeah, back to this episode. This I guess this basically shows what we think about the episode.
Yeah, it's pretty
when we're so easily distracted. Which is like, I just like there's just too much supernatural stuff in here. I thought most of the things in the show have been a little more based in kind of maybe reality-ish, and this is like there's basically this ring is an element that can stop the de-aging process of this kid. So when Spike escapes, but let's back this up a bit. There's this gunfight. Spike shoots this kid in the head, and he goes to see. He just sees a pile of blood and no body, no kid. And they have and they recover the body of the guy in the wheelchair, who is still alive. He just can't move. And they put a helmet on him so they can view his memories. And they view a memory of the event where the kid shoots Giraffe. And so they kind of get reveal that this ring, the gem on the ring, can de-age the kid if he gets shot with it. So they make a bullet out of this ring gem, and Spike goes with the gun to try to confront the kid. And they have this shootout where the kid tries to shoot Spike, and he misses, or gets Spike like right in the cheekbone. A classic cool guy move where he just doesn't react to any of the bullets being shot at him. So cool points for Spike. And Spike takes out this special gun, shoots this kid in the head, which causes him to age basically instantly. And the kid's actually kind of happy because he finally gets to die, which is pretty morbid now that I say it out loud. But
yeah, I think at the end,
it's just between this and the machine that can read a guy's memories, I just don't know.
Well, I mean, I don't know if the whole machine reading memories part, I mean, I feel like that could be based on science truth eventually. On. I mean,
you think you're going to be able to put on a helmet on somebody and read their memories.
Well, I mean, basically your brain is just the data storage. So, I mean, if you can basically all we do the whole day is retrieve data from our brain. So I don't see why they're.
So how many gigabytes can my brain hold?
I think it's like something like ridiculous. It's a lot. It's something ridiculous, like over 5 petabytes. But you only have so much. It takes a while for you to remember certain things.
What's a petabyte?
A petabyte's like 1 million terabytes. I believe.
Are you making this up?
No,
is this a bunch of BS?
I'm not making this up, but your brain can hold a lot of data. But
yeah.
a lot of it gets discarded because it's not useful. But
yeah,
data that is useful gets stored, and it's kind of like, I don't know. I don't want to get into this whole thing about how brains work because that's just a fucking
because
whole
neither
other
of us
topic.
know. Neither of us are brain experts. I'm just a guy here trying to talk about Cowboy Bebop with my buddy.
Yeah, but I'm just saying,
Mr. Jose Bebop.
It's something that could probably eventually happen. Not now, but hundreds of years from now.
Yeah, okay, maybe, but still. It's just a little, like, convenient that they have this thing on the Bebop. Like, do they use this thing pretty often? Like,
I mean, obviously,
how often do they break this thing out? Like,
to drive the plot, but, I mean,
yeah,
it's possible to be real one day.
True. That's movies and TV shows for you. There's there are certain things that if you start to go onto this dark path of saying this couldn't happen and this couldn't happen, all of a sudden you're a bitter 28-year-old guy in an apartment complaining about an animated show on a podcast. And let me tell you, that's a dark path to go down, children.
You cannot go down that dark path, Dylan.
But yeah. While this episode was kind of, it's still, like with Mass Effect, even a bad episode or a bad plot moment is like not that bad, because it's still fun to watch. So, and yeah, this is just, these 3 episodes, or Cowboy Bebop just does a really good job with storytelling, like I mentioned earlier, with the sort of show don't tell stuff.
I feel like this whole episode to me just felt like it felt kind of out of place. After the last episode, coming to this episode, it just feels like, what? Because that's why I felt like as I was watching yesterday. I was like, how does this flow from what happened last episode to this episode? I feel like this is a filler episode where basically Spike is just charging up his ki so he can do his final attack.
Welcome to anime, baby. It's time for an episode that doesn't have anything to do with the overarching plot.
Pretty much.
But,
definitely
still
strange. C rank to me.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Like, honestly, it wasn't as interesting. I kind of was, like, in and out of attention. Probably why we didn't discuss this episode as in depth, because honestly, I didn't really. Besides giraffe and zebra,
what's there to say? Like,
ain't much.
This episode make no damn sense.
I 100% wholeheartedly agree. This episode, good.
It don't make
decent,
no sense.
No,
man.
It just really has no effect to the overall plot.
Yeah, but hey, that's that's what you get when you get a 25 episode television show, right? If every episode was about the main plot, we would get bored of the main plot. So now we're here.
I'd rather cut this episode and make it a 25 episode series.
Oh, well, we gotta see the rest of the episodes to make our final judgment.
True.
All right, so in 2 weeks' time, we'll be watching some more Cowboy Bebop. And next week, we're going to be talking about, drumroll please, Truman Show, starring Jim Carrey. It's a movie I like, and I'm going to make Jose watch it.
Hey, I haven't seen The Truman Show in a long time, so it'll be nice to rewatch it. This is the movie that basically made Jim Carrey a superstar, right?
I think so. I mean, he was already kind of. I mean, this is like one of the few Jim Carrey movies that's like a real acting role, and not just like, well, I'm a goofy Ace Ventura character. Wow, well, wacky.
You mean this isn't Bruce Almighty?
This is not Bruce Almighty. No, that movie. Did I send you? I sent you that clip of that movie. Of the terrible special effects in that movie.
Yes, you have.
Oh, that movie. Oh God. Someday we'll watch that. But for this episode, or no, not this episode. The next episode, we're gonna watch Cowboy Bebop. I mean, no, I fucked it up. The next episode, we're gonna watch Truman Show. Episode after that, we're gonna watch some more Bebop. And then after that, probably some other stuff.
Yeah, got a couple of movies in the pipeline that we're thinking about watching. Do you want to talk about anything that's happened this weekend? E3 was...
Oh, Electronic 3. So, Jose and I are depressing video game nerds. So, the big video game press conferences. Another digital E3. They're still not doing in-person stuff, obviously. But, yeah, so... oh God, I have the list here. What do we got? There's a few weird trailers, like Atomic Heart, which just looks like a fake video game. The trailer is just such a mismatch of shit that I'm pretty sure it's a fake video game. There's 2 or 3 Left 4 Dead clones that are coming out, aka 4-player zombie shoot 'em ups.
Oh yeah, like Back for Blood.
Left 4 Dead is back, except it's called Back for Blood.
That looks pretty interesting. We should probably add that to our queue of games to play.
Yeah, whenever that comes out, which
day one.
Is it dates?
Day 1 Game Pass. I think it's August 13th it comes out.
Yeah, or open beta August 5th and and it's out October 12th.
Oh, wow.
What else? We got Elden Ring was finally officially had a trailer and a release date of January 21st, 2022.
Not totally at all far away.
That is surprisingly close considering that game has been like, there was this YouTube channel that every day would post an update like, and today we're going to see if there's any Elden Ring news. There was no Elden Ring news today. Thanks for watching. So I'm sure that guy's happy, but it's like another Dark Souls game, but this time it's collabed with Game of Thrones author George R.R. Martin. So while he's not writing any more Game of Thrones books and not finishing that series, he is making Elden Ring. So
he's
good
like,
for him, I guess.
I'm over this.
Yeah, pretty much. Far Cry 6, a definitely not political game. No politics in this game. About an evil Cuban overlord. Not political, according to Ubisoft. That game's going to be coming out along with a DLC where you play as like old Far Cry villains. Also not political. Did you hear about? You've heard about all the Ubisoft bullshit, right?
Yeah. Can I just say that honestly, just stop making Far Cry. Far Cry had plateaued and it's now in a downfall.
Yeah, well, it's the classic Ubisoft thing where they're just they have a successful thing, so let's make another. And they did. They made Far and not even. I don't think no one even remembers Far Cry 1 and 2. This is all the stuff that's been coming after Far Cry 3.
Yeah, Far Cry 3 is pretty much the plateau, and then everything else has been.
And it's basically been 3, Blood Dragon, 4, 5. There was a 5 DLC and 6, all basically the same game.
Pretty much.
For us Final Fantasy marks, we got a pixel remaster of all of the 6 original games. So hopefully it's going to actually be pixel art as opposed to the terrible sprites they use for some of the modern remasters.
No, I am Chaos.
We're getting to Chaos. So maybe the most memed trailer of the entire E3 was a game called Stranger of Paradise: Final Fantasy Origin, which is supposed to be a reimagining of the very first Final Fantasy game, but it just comes off as like an edgelord's nightmare, or wet dream, or what have you, where this guy who's just wearing a Henley shirt and a big sword on his back is just, he says chaos every 3 minutes in the trailer. He's just like, we're gonna go kill chaos. We're here to find chaos.
Mom, do you know where chaos is?
Is that you, Chaos? Where's the chaos? And it has those anime voice tropes where he's saying everything like this, very serious, and then his sidekick friend is like, well, hey, is this where chaos is? Whoa. So great stuff. Great stuff there. Halo Infinite is actually going to have a release date. After nerds got mad last year at the trailer for some reason.
Well, it doesn't have a release date. It just says holiday 2021.
Which probably means summer 2022, let's be honest.
Not again.
The way this stuff's been going. Hideo Kojima's new game, which he just said that he's making a new game. And then I read you this quote before the podcast, so let me just read it for all the people out there. Kojima's like an auteur, basically, of video games. If I were to make a film comparison, he's like a Tarantino type, like a visionary. Like it's a Hideo Kojima game, like a Tarantino film, like it's his name is attached to this in a heavy way, as opposed to a lot of other video games which don't have the name attached. So when asked about what's next for this new video game, Kojima replied, I can't really say specifically. It won't be like the past. It won't be one step at a time. The pandemic is making a drastic change, just like after 9/11. We have to adapt and think about new ways of creating, as entertainment cannot fall behind. Basically comparing the difficulties of making a video game in the pandemic to 9/11. Which is, I don't know, that seems to be crazy and also completely on brand for Kojima.
Well, I don't even know what to say to that.
Yeah, me neither. And this is also the same guy who is releasing a director's cut of his last video game, Death Stranding, which means that this guy is releasing an unedited version of maybe the most unedited video game that's ever come out. So it's like Death Stranding is basically the worst student film that's ever been made as far as pretentiousness goes. Like, and the fact that he's making, look, I'm all for weirdos making their weirdo shit. Like, we need more like crazy people making games and films that are different, even if they don't succeed or even if they don't hit the mark for certain people, or if you don't like them. I'm glad they're making their weird shit, but it's just so Kojima.
I'd just like to actually take some time right now to announce the Jose cut of episode 5 of the People's Review podcast.
Oh,
it's basically episode 5, but, I don't cut anything.
Well, yeah, you don't cut anything because I'm cutting everything.
Exactly. I'm basically just giving you the whole audio 100%.
So every time we say,
with all the
we
fuck-ups.
gotta cut that. All the fuck-ups, all the points where we say, hey, we should cut that out.
Yeah, pretty much. And that's the Jose cut,
man,
which will soon be joining the Snyderverse.
Yeah. Oh, God. If the Snyderverse comes back, what a... Jesus Christ. What else? Guardians of the Galaxy game being made. Outer Worlds 2 got announced. Psychonauts 2 got a new trailer. Rocksmith 2 is getting a subscription service. So instead of paying for the game, you will now have a subscription service to learn how to play guitar. Sorry, you were about to say?
Yeah, can I just say that watching the Holy 3 and the whole time Game Pass is being mentioned. If you're not aware of what Game Pass is, basically it's Xbox's subscription model where every time a new game comes out, you can get that game day one, as long as you're
every game.
Every game that comes out that's an Xbox exclusive, you can get it day one. Comes to Game Pass day one. And I just have to show that it looks like for the next couple of months, every month until the end of 2021, there will be a new Xbox exclusive game on Game Pass, which is just, really showing its value at $15 a month.
It's a great value. It has a bunch of old games, a bunch of new games, like Jose said. Definitely a game changer in this ever-changing video game environment.
And not only to forget the fact that you can also have it on PC, and you can have your Xbox and PC at the same time playing Game Pass games, and it won't interfere at all.
Yes.
So that's a for something.
I mean, it's a pretty major game changer.
Yeah, like you pay $15 a month. What is it? There's 12 months. That'd be $180. If you get every new game,
I mean, basically for the price of 2 new games, you can play a bunch of games. And I know, like, if you don't use it, then it's not worth it. And like, eventually a subscription service costs a lot, but this really is a great value. Like, no lie, we're not sponsored, but seriously.
Yeah, we're not sponsored at all, but if you're a PC gamer and you're an Xbox gamer, definitely take advantage of Xbox Game Pass. I've gotten tremendous value out of it, and so has Dylan, who has the Game Pass for PC.
Yeah, though they wouldn't let me downgrade to a cheaper plan, so I had to cancel, and hopefully I can resub at a cheaper price. But that's neither here nor there. Starfield got a cinematic trailer, which basically has told us nothing. This is supposed to be the new big Bethesda title. Release date for November 11th, 2022. So,
their first new game in 25 years. That's nuts.
First new games, or not even the first new game since Skyrim, but they did mention the 10th anniversary of Skyrim in the press conference, which I thought they were going to announce another like 10th anniversary edition of Skyrim to release it for like the 100th time, but
Releasing on the Xbox Series X. The enhanced Skyrim.
And it's also funny to see Starfield, a space game, a Bethesda space game, get announced alongside of The Outer Worlds 2, which is a similar game, except it's not buggy, or like a lot of Bethesda games. So it's funny to see those guys compete. I mean, Obsidian and Bethesda.
I mean, it's not. There are some bugs. If I played the original Outer Worlds when it came out on Game Pass.
Same.
And
that's what got me into Game Pass.
There were a couple of bugs in that game, so.
I mean, yeah, but like compared to a normal Bethesda title, it ran smooth as fuck.
Oh yeah, all the heads weren't spinning around.
Compared to a unpatched 1.0 Bethesda game, it might as well have been running as best, ran better than any of those games. So,
what's more stable, Cyberpunk 2077 or a Bethesda game? Go.
Oh God, Cyberpunk apparently got relisted on the PlayStation Store finally. So, good for them. I guess.
Did it.
Good for them. Guys. That game, which seems to be heavily overrated by. I mean, I called the hype. There was no way that game was going to be as good as the hype. Like, I called that from a mile away. Like, there was just no chance on earth.
You're right. It was as good as the hype. If anything, the game is over the hype.
Is it really? Are you really saying that? The game, they're like, this game is gonna be. It's like marketed as the next big thing, and it's just a buggier GTA game where it doesn't work for anyone who played it on a console.
No, it worked. You just have to have a good console.
It just doesn't work for the consoles it was advertised and marketed to.
Yeah, I don't know how the
and
Xbox
all the people
One...
who made pre-orders for them for those specific consoles. All those people got screwed, but luckily Jose got a good guy, upgraded his console, obviously, because that's what you got to do. Can't just make a thing that works on the thing that everyone has already, because that's crazy.
That makes too much sense. You always have to upgrade. Any game that comes out for an Xbox One, you have to play it on Xbox Series X because, let's be honest, it just runs better.
And that's the bulk of the announcements that I cared about at E3. Kind of want to wrap this up because the last episode was 2 hours and we're coming up on 2:30. So
2:30. I see.
Or 1:30.
Yeah, let's
1:30. So
we should probably wrap it up.
And once it's not as hot as it was last time, but it is humid as hell, and I'm sweating my balls off.
This guy and his sweaty balls.
I'm cutting that bit. Yes. Oh God. Okay. So next week we're gonna watch Truman Show, and next week after that we're gonna watch some Bebop. And thanks everyone for listening. Catch us on peoplesreviewpodcast.com. Jose made a beautiful website for us. Thanks to Jose. We're gonna be launching episodes. Like usual every Thursday. And thanks everyone for tuning in to our weekly space adventure.
See you in space, cowboys.
Cowboy, I'm a cowboy, baby.